Welcome to the Amazon's podcast. I'm Glenn Young, owner of Amazon's Fitness Magazine. This podcast is brought to you by Maximus Posing Suits. Let your inner warrior shine. Custom-made competition suits for victory on every stage. Special thanks to Michelle Bogdan, owner of Maximum Posing Suits. She is an IFBB Women's Bodybuilder Pro. Just got her pro card last year, and she will be competing at the Triple O Dynasty in Arizona coming up 6 April. So, how's everybody doing? I'm just checking in. It's 7:30 here. Wanted to get started on time, which is important. Melissa Guerrero is running a little late, getting off work, so she will be joining the podcast soon, as well as I'm trying to get my art director, Michael Young II, to join in as well. So just be patient. This is the first one. I'm loving the StreamYard, hoping everybody can hear me on audio and video. As far as I know, everything's looking good and working correctly. So I'm using the Elgato Cam Link to stream in my 4K Sony AX33 and then try to stream, of course, at 1080p as well. So it should be looking good, and audio seems to be working well. So I'm going to give y'all a moment to come on, check me out, and then we're going to get to some different notes. So got a big announcement at the end, obviously. So I'm just checking through my notes to see where we are, to make sure I don't forget anything, because this is critical. So why did I start the Amazon's podcast? Well, just like the magazine, after years of submitting my work, posting other magazines, I wanted to control my own content. And so that's the basis of the Amazon's podcast as well. There's a lot of narratives out there as to what the podcast is about, or what the magazine is about. And so to defray any rumors, I started the podcast so you can go straight to the source. If I can get my art director to come on, we'll do like a little Q&A. If not, that'll be planned at a later date. As you know, Amazon's came out 1 May 2022. That was the first issue. And then, of course, it rolled on from there. Coming up in this May, it'll be 2 years, May 2024. 2 years is hard to believe, but hey, it's been a wild journey, expensive journey. But at the end of the day, this is something I choose to do. I don't have to do. So we'll just go on from there. But to dispel all the rumors or control the narrative, so no one would have to ask and hear on other podcasts and whatnot, Amazon's Fitness Magazine, well, what's it about and what is it? Shout out to Female Bodybuilding Channel, JB and AJ, who's been hinting around on everything that's going on over here with the sponsorship. So I will clear a lot of that up later on in the show. But for right now, I just wanted to come on here. Hello to George, All the Rage George Page, who just came in. I said Melissa is stuck in traffic, and so she'll be making her way in. She got to be safe out there in that Charlotte traffic. She actually just got off, so I'll bring her in on later. And so just hang out. If not, I can go off and come back on, but for I know she's en route, so we'll be talking to her soon. So again, why I started Amazon's Fitness Magazine. I'm a fan and a photographer, and it's okay to be both. A lot of people wonder about the name, why Amazons? Not all women would see themselves as Amazons, but I told the guy that was asked me this question, said Wonder Woman in the movie, Amazons come from Themyscira, also known as Paradise Island in the Amazon Isles. Wonder Women came from Themyscira, and all women may not look at themselves as Amazons. All women are Wonder Women. So that was my answer back to him. But in truth and reality is, what is an Amazon? That's anyone that's gone through something, a struggle, or overcome something in their life. Whether it was an eating disorder, doesn't matter. They came to be an Amazon. So that's what the link is to it. Amazon, I look at all women as Amazons. When you look at competition, I look at all of the categories from bikini all the way up to women's bodybuilding, fitness, figure, wellness, the whole 9 yards, to include, CrossFit and of course, power bodybuilders. So that's just me. That's the reason I came into it. And there's nothing like having your own. There's nothing like having your own. And that was another reason for starting it. Like I said, I contributed to a lot of people's magazines, published several times. And then so now I publish myself and I got my own magazine. And then I'm just going to go on from there because everybody has to start somewhere. It's not how you start, but how you finish. So that's where I'm at. So slow night. I'm not going to make this big announcement till people come on. If not, I may just hold it. And that is who is going to be the third slot in the sponsorship of Amazon's fitness magazine. And so I want to shout out to everybody who sent in their packet. And I'm just looking through my notes. Great response. One thing about it, I want all of you to know that I want you to pose for Amazon's fitness magazine and be in the magazine because that's what it's all about. All of you are worthy, of course, but I can only pick one. And that's what it initially was. I was only going to pick one. And I ended up now on the third one, or offering a competitor a third sponsorship. This all came about really in July of 2023 and rolled on from there. Initially, I thought I already had to pick twice of who I wanted to sponsor or be an ambassador, if you will, of Amazon's fitness magazine. And then that sort of faded and then sort of died down. And then I actually started looking and I said, well, I'll just see what happens. And so as Female Bodybuilding Channel got in it and they announced it again. And I said, okay, well, I got to fess up. So in November, of course, signed Hella Trevino. And then, huge signing. She was at the Olympia. Didn't think it was going to happen. Didn't think she was serious, actually. And then she said she was. I said, okay. Chelsea Dion was on the radar. If you know anything about Chelsea Dion and looking at her YouTube, what she does for Blackstone Labs, she can market. She can market really well. So she was on the list, but then I don't think she's competing this year. So, that was one of the criteria. You had to be competing this year. You had to be a women's bodybuilder. Olympian was a plus. And then, of course, Teresa Avancic was the first Olympian to pose and to pose for Amazon's fitness magazine. She was on the July cover, 2022. And so she was already contributing to the magazine by being a writer and contributor in that regard. So sometimes things are just right in your face. And so that was an easy signing. And I don't know if you looked at last week, I believe it was, Teresa had a meal and she was literally just sprinkling salt on it. And look, she had 1,000 likes. And of course, she's heavily sponsored herself. And so, it came down to those two base questions. Can you market Amazon's fitness magazine? And what would be your marketing plan? And that was all to it. And then everybody sent in their packets and we just rolled on from there. So that's how it came to be. I was hoping to have more of a following, but hey, it is what it is. We're going to keep moving on with the Amazon's podcast. Like I said, I'll be joining later on from Melissa Guerrero. My art director, I'm just looking at his text. He's saying 7:45. And let me text him back and say, yeah, that's good. So give me a second. All right. So he's confirmed. My art director, Michael Young II, will be coming on at 7:45. So once he enters the room, I'll bring him in and we can talk from there. Got a lot of things going on about the magazine. The newsletter went out today. And then, of course, when Melissa comes on, we can roll from there. And that'll be the first episode. But if I don't get anybody other than George, I'm definitely not gonna make this announcement tonight. But thanks for the support, George. He has Muscle Talk Mondays, and I try to get in, but George will be on it like at 1, 2 in the day, and I'm still at work. So I usually catch his post show, his post recording, and go on from there. And then, of course, female bodybuilding channel. These guys are, well, JB is in Germany and AJ is in Norway. So it's like, you know, it's amazing to try to see those guys and get up with them, because a lot of times they will be talking with me, and I'll just be getting up trying to get out the door to go to work. So, and a lot of times, man, I got to go, and he'll want to talk, AJ, that is, about different ideas and what's going on and what he wants to do as far as with the magazine. And so, which is cool, but man, that time difference is tough. So it's hard. But those guys do great work for Amazon's Fitness Magazine. That's why I have a brand partnership with them. They did a recent thing over the show that they highlighted some competitors is doing, and everybody's talking about the Triple O Dynasty, which is great because it's out in Arizona, April 6th, and one of the earlier shows of the season. What makes it so different? This is Sid Gillian, Whitney Jones, and of course Andrea Shaw as the promoters. So that's a huge deal. It lands perfect in the calendar for me because I'm on spring break. So I actually will be off from 29 March to April 7th. But I don't know if I'm gonna make it because that is also the same weekend of the Charlotte Pro-Am, which is April 6th and 7th. And so, speaking of Michelle Bogdan, who's, as I said, is doing the Triple O Dynasty and is a sponsor of the show, title sponsor of the show, she also has a number of competitors that are competing in the Charlotte Pro that recently came out on her list. She also sponsors Rashana Boswell, Ivy Rain. So she's been at the Olympia a lot as a sponsor, if you will, of Maximus Posing Suits. And so now she has an opportunity by competing in the Triple O, and I don't know how many other shows she's going to do this year, to get a chance to the Olympia. The thing about that, she designs her own suits, so that saves her a lot of money. But one thing I want to point out, for her to be a women's bodybuilder, also a pro, and to sponsor Amazon's Fitness Magazine, first as an ad sponsor in the magazine and now a sponsor of the podcast, is huge. And so can't thank her enough. I would urge anyone to go to MaximumPosingSuits.com and check in with Michelle Bogdan. She does male suits as well. So I will be interviewing her at some point and bringing her on the podcast, hopefully before her show. And we'll just go on from there. But much thanks to Michelle Bogdan, who is a title sponsor of the podcast, the Amazon's podcast. And she was the first person to sign up. And as I said, she's already an ad sponsor in the magazine as well. So if you want to be a sponsor, just simply contact me, direct message or GPS photo and video at iCloud.com, and I'll get that address up to you. Address towards the end. So I don't want to have this mic too close. So it's the O2 brand new mic. It's only $50, but I guess it sounds pretty good so far. So I'm assuming that you guys are hearing me well. So I've covered everything that I want to cover except announcing my first call out. This will be the top 5, and then I will make a decision later on. So unless you guys got any questions, I'm gonna wait on my art director to come on, and then Melissa, and then I'll go on from there. And of course, at the end of the show, I will announce my first call out. So excited about that. Tremendous response as to the number of competitors that applied. I think it was up at one time at 10 or 12 that responded. And I'm not going to name names, but it was a great response. And the whole thing about sponsorship, you must understand that you always want to give the first right of refusal to the champ. If you're any kind of sponsor and you're trying to sponsor anybody, it doesn't matter, small, big, you want to get the best available. And so I was able to get Hella Trevino, uh, who at the time I did not know that she was already qualified for the Olympia, because that was one of the things that we discussed in November in Orlando at the Olympia. Was like, okay, so you're gonna have to recompete. Um, she didn't know at the time. I didn't know, but that didn't wouldn't have affected it whether I would have signed her or not, because that was automatically going to happen. And so I was pretty excited about that. Um, but I had no idea that she was already going to be qualified for, so that was just an added plus. And so I was hoping to get her here to North Carolina to do a photo shoot at some point. It'll be a cover shoot, obviously, and get her in the magazine and get her on the cover. And of course, Teresa Alvancic will be running it back, if you will, and she'll be on the cover of Amazon's as well. Uh, again, because her being a sponsored athlete, the purpose of the magazine is to push those guys out there and try to promote them as much as possible. And I can't think of any other way other than on the cover of Amazon's fitness magazine. So pretty excited about that. Martina Lopez, definitely we shooting her again. If I want to talk about shoots that are coming up this year, I'm trying to shoot every women's bodybuilder that I possibly can. Of course, reaching out and already been contacted by some of the um, competitors throughout Carolina, South Carolina, and North Carolina. So I'll be doing that as well. Let me respond to Melissa Guerrero. Just telling her to check her email for the link. Mm-hmm. Just making sure she got the link so she didn't have to rush coming in the door. Mm. So that being said, if anybody has any questions, I would definitely answer them. So it should be a new one. Should be a new link. Mm. Thanks again, George. Uh, who else do I have on my list for shoots? Wow. I mean, all of them. Rashana Boswell, Rashina Oleg, Julia Wetzel, Julia Fury, um, Virginia Sanchez, Barbara Mujan. I mean, these are all the people that reached out. So obviously, if they reached out, I want to shoot them for the magazine and put them on the cover, because in the end, I would have the rest of the covers for the rest of the year and be good to go. I may even have to put out like a special edition in between months. Right now, I'm shooting for the March issue of Amazon's Fitness Magazine to get that rolling. Uh, my plan right now is to go to the Arnold's. I have a couple competitors there that's already in prep that will be at the show. And also, the Arnold's, people don't understand, I got 90% of my family is in Columbus, in or around Columbus, Ohio. My sister's in Columbus. I have a niece who is a doctor at Ohio State University, Dr. Angela Tucker. Um, a lot of my siblings have passed away, but all the children have still remained there in Ohio. My brother Joseph had 6 children, so they're all there. went to the University of Cincinnati, niece, and then my nephew Joe Jr. Um, my sister Vernice Calloway has three children there. Her daughter's in Dayton, Ohio. So the whole thing about that, if I go to the Olympia, then I don't have to worry about not the Olympia, the Arnolds. I don't have to worry about lodging. So that helps out with lodging and food, and then I can just go enjoy the Arnolds and set up shoots for the people that's going to be there that's in prep. Um, and so it should be looking pretty good at that time. They should be roughly uh, 30 days out. Yeah, 30 days out from the first shows in April, whether it's the Triple O or whether it's the New York Pro. And so we'll go from there. All right, Melissa is ready to come in. She is an IFBB pro, wellness pro. She was on the first cover of, well, not the first cover. She was on the November 22 cover of Amazon's Fitness Magazine. And Melissa, how you doing?
I am doing good. How are you?
Great. So I hope you didn't get any accident rushing through traffic to get on. Because when you texted me, where were you? Were you just when you said you were just leaving?
Yeah,
Um, I was like, okay. I know you. What are you about 20, 25 minutes?
like
Where
25
you work?
minutes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So obviously you got home safe. How was your day at work?
It was good. It was tiring, but it was good.
So what's going on in the world of Melissa Guerrero?
I was away for a little bit, but I'm back. I'm back.
Okay. And how you feeling?
I feel excited to be back on
Okay.
stage. Yeah, excited to be back in prep.
Okay. So this year at the Olympia, if you were to use a high school analogy, the wellness uh, the wellness division will be a senior in high school coming out in 2020, COVID, which is crazy when you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the fourth year of wellness at the Olympia. What have you seen? What do you think, of the division as it stands now? And of course, you qualified and got your pro card in Charleston, South Carolina. So, what are you thinking?
Yep. I think the division, like pretty much every other division, starts off as this is one thing, this is what we want, this is what we're looking for. And then as the
Hmm.
years go by, it's like this is what we want, this is what we're looking for, but this is what's winning. And it's like complete opposites, you know what I mean? And
Right.
we saw it happen with the physique division when it came out. It's happening and continues to happen with the classic physique division. And I
Hmm.
think now with the wellness division, it's the same thing, you know, you have your set criteria. This is what the judges want. This is what they're looking for. But then you go on stage, and the ones that pretty much hit that criteria are not the ones that are winning. It's the
Hmm.
ones that are kind of just out there looking rock solid, pretty much on the borderline of being striated and veiny. That's kind of like what's winning. But then it's funny because then it's like that's what's winning, like the IFBB shows, right? But
Hmm.
then you look at the Olympia and then you see Miss Olympia Wellness, and it goes back to the criteria that they set. You know, so Miss Olympia Wellness is a lot softer. You know, she's not as hard. So and now it kind of makes you think like, all right, so do I have to look hard in order just to win an IFBB show or to get that qualification? But then once I get that qualification, do I have to pull back? You
Hmm.
know, because it's like the ones that are winning are looking one way, but then the one that's winning Miss Olympia looks completely opposite. So it's kind of I don't know. I feel like it's still in the air a lot. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
I feel like the judges and all of them need to figure it out, like exactly what it is that they want, because I feel like a lot of us are still very confused as to what it is that they want, because obviously it seems like they're still very confused as to what it is that they want. And then you go do one show and they want you this way, and then in another show they want you drastically different, and then you go
Hmm.
and you hit that look that they asked you for in that last show, and now they want you back to how you were in the beginning. You know what I mean? So I feel like everyone just kind of needs to get on the same page.
So you think the judging was sort of like all over the place?
I think judging is still all over the place. You
Yeah.
know, it's
Well, it's
still very
popular in
much all over
Brazil,
the
so it was
place.
already a hit there, and
Yeah,
then
but I mean,
come over here.
even if you look at the girls in Brazil and the ones over here, it's completely different. Like the physiques
Right.
are completely different. Like wellness in Brazil is a lot softer than what it is coming to be here in the
Mhm.
States. You know, like in Brazil, they're very big, but they're not as, how can I say it, as lean, as dry, as here
Mhm.
in America. In America, it seems that like the pros here are a lot drier and a lot leaner than the pros out in like Brazil and South America.
Well, it's so much more than just a big butt and a smile.
Oh yeah.
Uh, Wellness in bikini, and I've heard like I'm out and about, and when they look at the whole thing about Amazon's fitness magazine, they say, "Wow, it's you know, they look like men and yada yada yada." But then they say, "Well, I could be a bikini, or I could be a wellness because I got the butt, and I can do bikini because bikini's always been popular." But you have no idea until you've gone through
Oh
that
nope,
competition, and then they get
nope.
out there like, you know.
And get
But if you
smoked.
but bikini and wellness get a lot of hate as well. So I mean,
Hmm.
listen, I got my
Yeah.
art director here, so I'm gonna bring him in real quick, and so we can talk all together about the magazine and stuff. And then of
Okay.
course we're gonna continue. This is Wednesday,
Hmm.
Wellness Wednesday, which is the show that we wanted to add. Michael Young, what's up, nephew?
Hey, what's up, Uncle? How you doing? How you doing?
All right.
I messaged you. I was like, hey, well, if you don't need me, I could just go. I could go ahead
No,
and help.
no,
You know what I
man. No,
mean?
I wanted you to come in so we could talk a little bit about the magazine and give people some teasers, and then later on we could come in and do a heavier laydown of what's going on with the magazine. But
Okay,
you can
cool.
formally meet Melissa Guerrero here. You've seen her in the magazine.
Hello,
Hey,
She's editing
Michael.
your photo and do the layout.
how's it going?
Good, good. How are you?
Not bad, not bad.
Good.
So I guess Melissa, what's been your thoughts on the magazine? Because you've been with me since the beginning. And everybody's
Yes.
got this narrative that it's a small magazine, that is this, that is that.
Well,
And
I
quite
mean,
frankly,
the
they
magazine has
don't
only
know.
been out for like what, 2 years now, going on
It'll
three.
be May will be 2 years. May will
Okay,
be two
yeah.
years.
So I mean, like everything needs to grow.
Mhm.
You're not gonna put out a product and immediately like it's a hit. Even
Right.
even with like these famous brands, like you see like Nike or Adidas or something, like unless they have a super famous person behind it, it's gonna take time for those new sneakers to become popular. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's the same thing with the magazine. I feel like it's just in its growing phase right now, and you, of course, critique is good, but you can't sit there and let every single critique like get to you. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
you're still in the growing phase, and I feel like for what you're trying to do, something that hasn't been done, period, it's going to be a lot more hard work than just seeing something that's already been done and then just copying it. And here's a
Mhm.
product that's already been done and just putting my name on it.
Well, it's been an interesting journey, and I just like and I just laugh at some of the stuff because the thing I was telling Mike, we got female subscribers just as well as we got male subscribers. So I
Yeah.
think that was a
Mhm.
step in the right direction. So
Hmm.
and we just go on from there.
And
So I
that's
mean,
definitely what we want. You don't want it just to be like men,
yeah.
and I mean, yeah, we know what sells or whatever,
Well,
but like you don't want it just to be men, like
yeah,
you want it to be something that also like for the females or the women in the industry that they also are able to pick up the magazine and get something out of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the
Uh,
thing about it, sex sells and smos pay bills. So it's just
Yeah.
about finding the niche, that gray area that is that is Amazon's fitness magazine. So you try to appeal to everybody like I'm too far to the left, and everybody said, "Well, great magazine, but I don't know if you're about my brand."
Yeah.
And then you see the other part of it. I want to pull people out that are fans of women's bodybuilding. and they get the nickname Schmoes, and they're in the closet. But hey, you need to come on out, subscribe, and that's how we keep it going. Because a lot of things are going on now. Nobody thinks female bodybuilding is popular. You know, there's going away, but they got fans all over the place. It's just these guys are in the closet.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I feel like bodybuilding in general has always been something that's been a kind of like underground sport, if that's
Mm-hmm.
what you want to like say, you know, like unless you're actually in the sport yourself, it's not something that's really like you don't really speak about it, you know, like even people like, for example, like football, people that don't watch football, but you still hear people talking about the Super Bowl. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that doesn't really happen with bodybuilding and especially women in bodybuilding. So I think that, you know, I definitely appreciate the magazine and what you're trying to do. And I know that a lot of other women bodybuilders also do. And I just feel like, you know, we just have to just stick behind it and just, you know, keep promoting it and not let the haters
Yeah.
get to you, you know.
Yeah. And like I said, I mean, sex sells, Schmoes pay bills, but
Yeah,
can you sell sex without selling sex? And that's the niche in there. Because a lot of guys,
yeah,
you know, hit me up and say, man, hey, where's the chat room at? Hey, where's the news? Hey, where's this? I'm like,
yeah.
hey, you know, hey, you may be in the wrong magazine. I mean,
All
Mike, what's
right.
been your take on it?
Well, I came on last year,
Yeah,
like right
March.
before March.
Yeah.
Yeah, like right at the March issue.
And lost,
And
lost the publisher in the news, Rayford News Journal that was publishing it, and lost
mm,
website, my web designer. Both of them just quit, say, I ain't got time for this. Really, no explanation. I was like, wow. So in comes nephew, moved in from California, 12 years experience, you know, it wrote for many other magazines. And so, boom, I was glad to hit you up, man. Glad you accepted because they kept it going.
I was genuinely worried at first because I'll be honest, I know nothing about like the fitness game,
Mm-hmm.
bodybuilding, any of that. I mean, outside of like my own fitness stuff, but I don't know, anything about that. So the only magazines I had worked on is either entertainment magazines or like women's lifestyle magazines, like
Mm-hmm.
kind of leaning towards sort of fashion. So I didn't know if it would even kind of work out as far as trying to lay out the magazines, but I've been having fun. And as far as the
Right.
stuff that I've been learning, it's been cool to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad it's worked out because I didn't want to come in and just like mess things up. Uh, but the from the photos and everything, there is a level that's like kind of like kind of like models, but and I know it's not modeling, but it is kind of like in that sort of where it can get like sexy and stuff like that. But
Mm-hmm.
I've never been of the mind that this was too racy.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
There were a couple of shots that I was like, I think what was it? Maryland shots. I was like, that's low.
Marilyn Yee?
Um, yeah. Because
Yeah, Mark. Okay.
when I have a 6-year-old.
Okay.
So I'm working on the magazine, so he might be in and out of the office, and sometimes I'm like, oh no. But other women's shots, he'll just say that's a fitness lady because I
Uh-huh.
watch other like I'll be honest, I don't have a gym membership. I do the
Right.
free at home push-ups, squats, lunges. This is pretty much
Right.
and well, I did buy a bike, so I do have a bike. I
As long
splurged
as
on
you
it,
get it done. As long as you get it
but yeah.
done.
But so he knows like fitness videos that I might watch. So he'll say that lady is
Mm-hmm.
fitness, and that's pretty much
Mm-hmm.
it.
Well, that's good stuff. I know. What's his name again?
And Mikey or Michael.
Mikey. Oh, so he's the third.
Yeah, he's the third.
Okay. What was cracking me up when you told me the story that he came in the office and he looked at, I don't know who the bodybuilder was. It may have been Rashana or whatever, but he was like, "Hey, she's got bubbles on her back," and you,
Yeah.
those aren't bubbles, buddy. Those some muscles.
I'm trying to remember who that was. I can't remember who it was,
That
but
was
he said she has
hilarious.
bubbles on her back. I was like,
That was hilarious. It may have been Sequita Barrino.
yeah,
working on that
it was that.
equally
It was
time.
that one because I was working on that. Yeah, he said she has bubbles on her back. I was like, well, no, not exactly. It kind of looks like that, but no.
Bad.
I was like, it's just like super detailed muscles and stuff. And I mean, I won't lie. I'm feeling kind of good. I can see a little
Yeah.
lines in my shoulders now. I'm like, oh, okay.
Look at you. And of course, you had your own fitness journey too. So I'm proud of you.
Yeah. I'm still going. We'll see how far we can go. We still got a little ways, even though it might not be weight related now, because I've plateaued in my weight sort of, but I've lost 2 inches on my belt. So
Nice.
now
But you came
it's
from where?
I was 409 pounds.
Wow.
And now I'm 220. So
Man, that's great.
just hitting the bike. I'm in kung fu like 3 times a week, and just
Oh wow.
push-ups, squats. I'm still trying to do 100 a day. I get to like 60, 70. Not
Well,
easy,
you on it.
but I'm trying to get to that 100 push-ups a day because I see all the bosses doing it on
Yeah.
YouTube. You kind of want you like, I want to do 100 push-ups.
Well,
But when I get around 60, it's tough.
Crawl, walk, run. So
Yeah.
All right, Melissa. Getting back to you. You've been a wellness competitor. You were always wellness. Or did you
No,
start
I
out?
started out as figure.
Really?
I did a figure. I think it was 2 shows in figure. That was like a
Mhm.
really long time ago. And I did really good in those shows. I think I got second and third in my very first shows. And then, but like I always liked wellness, like
Mhm.
I always enjoyed that the way that it looks, I obviously I love training lower body. So then I wanted to compete in wellness, but we didn't have wellness. So I was actually willing to like go overseas to compete in
Mhm.
wellness. But then that's when the whole COVID thing happened and everything got
Right.
shut down. And then that's when we ended up getting wellness. So I didn't have to go overseas for that. But yeah, I started out in figure. Figure was my first division.
So you started with figure. How did you do though?
What do
Just
you mean?
as far as you started out in figure, you weren't doing well. And what made you just say, "Okay, I'm gonna go wellness"?
No, I was doing well. I got second
Okay.
and third place in my very first 2 shows, so I would say
Okay.
that's doing well. Um, I just, it wasn't like, I like training and figure and everything, but brutally honest, I don't like the off season look on me.
Mhm.
Like I feel like, I mean, obviously you've seen me. I'm freaking 4'9". So, I just feel like I look like a little quarterback when I was
Hey,
in like
hey,
my
hey,
off
hey!
season.
You
And
have no complaints from me. I don't know who people who knew football, and you can go back and Google it. But there was a guy named Robert Newhouse,
uh-huh.
and he was all legs. And I was like, when I first said that just looked like a tailback. And
But see
so,
that was the thing, like in figure, I obviously I'm very leg dominant. So in
mhm,
figure, being that I was very leg dominant, I either had to bring down my legs or
mhm,
really bring up my upper body because figure is a division that's very much, symmetrical. You have to be very symmetrical in figure.
mhm,
So for me it's just really hard to bring my legs down like ever, like even if I were to never work out ever again a day in my life, like the whole rest of my body would look like shit, but my legs will still be there, So I could not bring my legs down for the life of me. I was doing like 3 hours of cardio and they were just getting bigger. Like I wasn't even lifting, I was just doing cardio and they were just kept growing and growing and growing. So I was like, all right, so I'm gonna have to like make my upper body bigger, and
right.
it looked amazing on stage when I was cut, when I was lean. But
Oh
then,
yeah,
when that off season
I
came
got
and
the
I wanted
photos
to
to
put
prove
on a dress, it was like this dress doesn't fit. And
Yeah.
I'm looking like not necessarily how I want to look in the dress.
Mm.
And then, that's when I was like, but I want to do this division. I want to do that division.
Yeah.
It's like so beautiful. And like the legs and like, the upper body's smaller and the legs are bigger. And, I tried it that one time and I got overall, and then I went into nationals and I got my pro card, and then I did my first pro show, and I did pretty good in my first pro show considering what I was going through, which what I was going through, but
Yeah. That's
you
all right.
know.
Yeah. But did you find yourself you needed to stop training legs or train them less because you are so leg dominant?
I do train them a lot less now. I used to train legs at one point like 3 times a week. Now I only train them once a week, and I don't really focus so much on pushing weight, like I don't really focus so much on how heavy I can go. As opposed to just, watching my form, I'm working a lot with tempo this season, as opposed to like, all right, let's see how much weight I can push.
So you're actively training.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting ready for a show. What show are you getting ready for, Melissa?
So it was going to be the New York Pro. That was going to be my very first show of the season. But if I was to do the New York Pro, hold on, I got the calendar right there. I would be, what does that say? 15 weeks out, which I am 15 weeks out because I'm going to do the New York Pro. But I also decided, I'm still going to do the New York Pro.
Okay.
I decided to hop into the Charlotte Pro.
Yes. That's what I'm talking about.
So I am.
And that lines up perfect because it's spring break, so I'll be off. So yeah.
Yeah. So that means that I am now like 8 weeks out. Not looking anywhere close to 8 weeks out, but that's all right.
Yeah, I see you fairly covered up there. You're not trying to show that.
Nope, but I'll get there. I mean, you know how I do. If those last 2 weeks, if I look out in the mirror and I'm like, nah, this ain't it. If those last 2 weeks, I gotta push it to the limit. Like you already know, like, I'm just like that type of person. Like, what? 4 hours of cardio, 5 hours of cardio, minimal freaking calories. If that's what I need to do to drop these 50 pounds in 8 weeks. Like,
and what's crazy is you still do not have a coach, right?
Is that even possible? Can you?
We'll see.
Can that be done?
I should document that, right? Like that should be like a YouTube series.
This seems very fast. Just at least from my perspective of like what I do in working out, but I mean, of course, it's not my job.
Oh no, but no, hours. Honestly, like
it just seems very fast.
if anyone was to come to me, like if I had a client come to me looking like how I'm looking like right now and be like, yeah, I'm gonna do the Charlotte Pro, I'm gonna be like, no, you're not. That's not happening.
But I mean, you know your body, and you know.
Yeah, I know how hard I can work. I know how hard I can work. I know like my limits, and which is almost none. But yeah, so I know that like I know I could do it. I know I can do it.
So the Charlotte Pro and then the New York Pro.
Yep, and maybe the Pittsburgh in between.
Pittsburgh.
Maybe, yeah, because Pittsburgh is. I mean, it's only like 5.5 hours from where I'm at right now. So I'm like, that's not too bad of a drive.
No, 8 hours.
Yeah,
I've done it.
Well, it's 8 for you. It's only 5.5 for me.
Yeah, because I'm 2 hours.
Remember, you're further. Yeah, you're further than me.
You just jump on I-77, US 19, I-79, and keep it rolling. Yeah, you're right.
Don't give people our location.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Does Richmond have any like shows? Do we have any shows?
You have the Jay Cutler Classic that was last year in Richmond. I think it's an NPC show, Kevin DeHaven show. I'm assuming that they're gonna still have it this year. I want to say that was in August though too. So
yeah, because I was in Baton Rouge during. Yeah, I remember that.
So we have to go from there. So real quick, Mike, what's going on with the magazine? We got some new up and coming things. Tell everybody about the newsletter.
All right, we have with the newsletter that went out this week, the digital version of January just dropped. So
Right.
that's Jessica Reyes Padilla. I hope
Yes.
I'm pronouncing her name
Yes,
right.
you are.
Apologies. I'm just kind of copying and pasting the name so I don't misspell it. Priscilla K. I'm not going to mess up that last name.
But yeah, she's in Orlando. Yeah.
Tala Amini,
Faith
Faith
T.
T.
Yep.
Okay. Who else? I know I'm missing some people because we have a lot of athletes in this issue.
We do.
Whole lot. And then we have Gina's article.
Gina Carolero,
about being a bodybuilder, and then we also have.
So you want to be a bodybuilder? Yep.
Yes. So you want to be a bodybuilder, and Teresa's article about kind of like the prep of it all. Which is a really cool article. Even though I don't get to read all of them, the bits and pieces that I do get to read are actually pretty informative and pretty cool. I mean,
they can write. They got a lot of experience. I know Teresa Avancic. I want to say this would be her 19th year of competing, and I mean, she can write. So she's got a lot to give, and it just pours out of her. I just let her go. We'll say, hey, you want me to write about this? Want to write about that? And then I see the article, and I'm like, wow. So I really hope that people are reading the articles, not just looking at the photos,
at the pictures.
Like back in the day when they had Playboys, I only buy it for the articles. They need to read these articles.
Yeah, and I mean they're putting in a lot of like these aren't like short articles like like one page or something. They're actually putting in a lot of like research and a lot of like experience and like training experience and stuff. So there's tons in there. I mean, of course, you have the pictures because you have these like kind of like like men or women that your bodies are kind of like statues, like because it's I mean it's like basically like superhero bodies. So I mean, of course, it's great to look at, but there's tons of great information and life experiences through like the stories that we get from any of the highlights, like from Priscilla or something like that, or Tala, about like pushing themselves, perseverance. Some of Jessica's story that was in an interview that you did with her, and also that she has that we got from her submission. In her own words, there's a lot of cool stuff that you might not know about this or that athlete that's in there that I think is pretty cool. We have new entries for the gallery, and there's always like new entries every month for the gallery, at least either every month or every other month. I can't remember how frequently, but
I mean, they subscribe. I mean, it's so much that they're missing, as well as the articles, couple of video clips on there. But
because we're gonna be pushing video next. That'll be probably in the March release, maybe like late March, to get all of that categorized and like basically set up right for the way the website works. But that, and lastly, also where you'll be at the Ohio show.
Yeah, Arnold's Classic. Are you coming up to see the family?
I gotta see.
Hey, you know what?
Because it's at the end of March, right, or the end of February?
Yeah, end of March, 29 February. So it's 1 through 3 March.
So so it's the beginning of March. All right, cool. You know what? I'm gonna nail that down for real because we've been talking about it, but we haven't made a decision yet. But yeah, that would be cool to come up, take some photos, then also chill with the family for a little bit. So that'll be cool.
Yeah. So I got a couple of shoots lined up, but my sister still hasn't seen the magazine because every time
not at all.
Arnold's, she'll be like, "You just coming up here to see those women." And I'm like, okay, whatever.
No, there's a real magazine. There's I got a couple copies right over there, but it's a real magazine.
Exactly. It really is. And then Joe, he subscribes. And then when I was up there last November, I'm looking at Marie, his wife, and she's like, "Oh, okay." I say, "Man, look, just stay online, or I can give you some copies to put in the garage." I don't know what to tell you. But it's always good when the family gets behind it too.
But I mean, the magazine the magazine, okay, there are some shots that are definitely, intimate or sexy or something. But I mean, there's also
You think I went too
there's
far?
I don't think there's
I,
anything in there that's too far.
yeah, I can't speak for everyone's wife,
Yeah.
but like, so I don't know, Uncle
I
Joe,
mean,
if
but
he's like,
as far as like if I mean, yeah, like you said, you can't speak for everyone's wife, right? But like they're not gonna see anything in there that they cannot just open their phone and scrolling through Instagram, see money.
yeah,
Exactly.
it's kind of along the lines of like a swimsuit issue, because most of them are wearing kind of like swimsuit like outfits, since they're not technically swimsuits, but so it's not, I wouldn't say it's risque or anything like that. So I wouldn't say it's crazy. Outside of like the one shoot where I was like, I can't really have this screen open. But most I think
it wasn't
like
Melissa's,
that, and maybe
was it Melissa's spread?
No, Melissa does have a risky spread, but that's before I came on.
Yeah,
it's like you were like in milk or something like that. I can't remember what it was, but
that was a Christmas tree.
Oh, that was Christmas.
Cookies and cream.
So I mean, like, I could, but see, that was before I came on. So
see, everybody got to go to be a subscriber to see that.
Yeah, be a subscriber, and you can like see the you can see like the older photos. I mean, we have tons of from bikini to figure to bodybuilding, all of that.
Yep.
And then there's Melissa in the pink mask. That was the one that set it off. That everybody was just like, "Whoa!"
That is.
It did. Yeah. But anyway. But
That
Melissa gets after it. She goes hard, and that's why she's affiliated with Amazon's fitness magazine. And we hope that you continue, ma'am.
I'll say this. The shot that I like of that I really love. There's two that I really like of you. There's one that we used in the newsletter. You're at the beach and you're like kind of like reclining on the rocks.
Okay, yeah.
So that's one.
And then there's you won a pro card. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then there's another one when you're like, I guess in somewhere in like a field or something, but you're like jumping in like midair. And it's kind of like a running pose. That's awesome.
The backyard.
Yeah,
the tiki shoot.
When she first came, I was like, what in the world? Are you marching or something? She got these tiki in the fire, like, oh my God, really? But it came out great. It really
the midair shot, I really like. That's an awesome shot.
Cool. Yeah.
So yeah, those are the two shots that I really like, think are super awesome. I mean, of course, there's other shots that I can't really,
Well, hey, hey. You go
but for the most part, the magazine is okay. If you're buying, I don't know, like swimsuit issue of Sports Illustrated, it's about like the same amount of skin, I guess you could say. So I mean, it's not. I wouldn't consider it over the top or anything like that.
Right.
Plus, there is a ton of like cool stories and like
there's a lot of informative things. Yeah, like I think that like. It's nice because people see bodybuilders as like these dumb people that just like lift weights and that's it, and it's nice to see that like all these women are like actually like very smart and a lot of them like really know how to write.
Yeah, and Nikki, I don't want to mispronounce Politi.
Nikki Politi, yes.
All right, cool. All right, so because when I just see the name, I'm just kind of guessing. She's like a doctor or something as well? Like, what is she?
She has I don't want to get this wrong, and I'm gonna be.
She has a doctorate or something.
In biochemistry, not a doctor.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry. But it's like something like she's like a scientist or something. I'm like, what?
She is brains and beauty. I ain't gonna lie.
Nice.
So it's like these random things that you get in these stories. When you're like reading them and all of that, you're like, oh wow, like, or even when they'll add in something that's like quirky about them that no one knows.
And she's even a co-promoter of NPC Pennsylvania Muscle. So and she's a judge. She's an NPC judge. So there's a lot of sustenance when it comes to Nikki Politi. She's more than just a
Yeah.
bikini competitor. So,
Mhm.
and then when you look at the articles, the article that Melissa wrote, which shows her vulnerability, because Melissa suffers with migraines, and she
Mhm.
wrote the story about that, and that article's in there as well. That was the first year. I mean, and Melissa, if you could, I ain't gonna hold you long, but I mean, how are you doing with that now, with your critical illness that is migraines that bother you from time?
Um, well, I'm just getting over like a 3-day episode. So
Oh man.
Yeah,
yeah. But you know, it is what it is. I'm so used to them already that I've been dealing with it for like what, like 30 years now, 31 years.
since you were really
So
young.
yeah, since I was 4 years old, that's when I first got diagnosed with chronic migraines. So it's just, you know, it's like it's part of life now. You know, I just learned how to deal with it. Like I guess you could say like not let like my illness define me, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's amazing. We were on a photo shoot, and I'm just shooting, and we're just going on. And he said, "Yeah, I hope this migraine ends." I'm like, "What? If you had a migraine, why are we doing this photo shoot?" So she's a trooper in that regard. It's not like you were training it. You know, you
Yeah.
could have passed on that. So
I know, but it's
yeah,
like if I were to like pass every time I didn't feel good, then you know how
yeah,
many opportunities and things I would like say no to. So,
yeah.
you know.
But you got to take care of your health, and I think it's amazing that you still don't have a coach and you train yourself. So I'm looking forward to seeing you on stage at the Charlotte Pro. We're gonna
I'll
try to
be
shoot next
there.
weekend, right?
Yes, sir.
Definitely gonna be dope. You know, Super Bowl weekend, so we gotta
Yes,
come up
sir.
with
We
something
gonna
fire.
do it. We gonna do it.
And then, like in the background behind me, you see Teresa Moda, IFBB Women's Physique Pro. I mean, she is name, image, and likeness. She's the brand. You know, I never asked Teresa as far as using her photo to become my logo and brand. I just did it. And she was always saying, "Well, Glenn, it's an honor." And so we have a great relationship as well. And I love that about her. But I guarantee you, the magazine blow up, she'll be like, "Okay, where's my check?" Because in the world of NIL and these football players' name, image, and likeness, I mean, I use her all the time. And she's the logo that is Amazon's fitness
She's
magazine.
awesome.
Yeah. And of course, she wrote and opened up about herself as well. She had suffered from breast implant illness, and she wrote an
Oh
article
yeah,
on
I
that.
saw that.
And so I wish a lot of people. I mean, I'm glad they love the photos and everything, but there's a lot of great human interest stories out
Yeah,
there, and people
definitely.
should check it out. And last thing I want to mention about the magazine, I'm talking to Mixum this week, who prints it. Um, they're looking at the print link, like we had talked about, Mike. And so the
Okay.
print link basically is you'll be able to order the magazine hard copy from the website. So I hope to have that set up this week. It really is already set up because it's already connected to my bank. So now I just gotta link in all the issues, and then basically we're gonna have to go back and put the print link to all the previous issues as well. So that's great.
Yeah, and
So
then you'll be able to we'll make a portal for you guys to be able to either print from the subscription side, or we'll see about the non-subscription side. Not
yeah.
sure. We'll
Oh,
see.
not to say,
Wait,
bro. We gotta. I'm sponsoring these apps. They gotta pay, bro. We need this
you
money
gotta pay.
because Hella Trevino and Teresa Advanced, they gonna be wanting their check. You're like, hey, Glenn, what's going on? So to close this out, guys, I ain't gonna hold you so y'all can go. As promised, I said I was gonna announce my first call out for the third sponsorship. Like I said, this was something that started in August last year. And like I said, to me at the time, you always want to find the best available. And if you're any kind of sponsor or trying to sponsor, the first right of refusal always goes to the champ. That's just the way I feel about it. Heavy interest, I thought it was done. Chelsea Dion, and then she wasn't competing. She isn't competing this year that I know of. So that could change too. But then I was like, okay. And then of course, female bodybuilding channel made the announcement Glenn's looking for a third after I signed Hella Trevino and Teresa Avancic. So I'm assuming they're going to donate their paid sponsorship, their paid partnership to help pay for this. I'm like, oh wow, really? Okay. Of course, I didn't back off on it, and I didn't know at the time if I was going to do a third or not. So it got a lot heavy response. the criteria was simple. It had to be a women's bodybuilder pro, an Olympian, a plus. And the simple question was, how would you market Amazon's fitness magazine? And if so, what would be your marketing plan? Because I don't want somebody that if you don't believe in it, hey, you want to hurt my feelings. If you don't feel it's part of your brand, hey, that won't hurt my feelings either. Keep it moving, because if you really gonna be a brand ambassador, you got to believe in the product, and that's what I love about Teresa Avancic. She can sell ice to Eskimos, and that was one of the things that drew me to Chelsea Dion as well. Not just their followers, but you look at their YouTube channel, their website. They are heavy brand ambassadors for Gaspari, Blackstone Labs, and they can really sell. So I had about 10 responses, but this is my top 5, the first call out. And then after this, at some point, I'll make a decision once I go back in. The biggest factor behind that is when's your show date, and they say, well, I'm doing Portugal. Hey, well, it may not happen. But without further ado, are we ready?
We're ready.
All right. And before I start, I'll lead a continued paid sponsorship or paid partnership with Melissa Guerrero as well. So she is still under the Amazon's umbrella. So we're in negotiations and we're going on there. So yeah, I gotta keep my what's the word I want to use? Well, I gotta keep my partners close, but let's put it that way. Those the money makers, if you will. So we ready?
This was ready.
Tough. This was tough. All of them are worthy, and I hope that all of them will still shoot for Amazon's fitness magazine, and we'll go on from there. So, here we go. So we got a total of 3 people watching, but it'll be recorded and posted later. And I'm sure they'll tell a friend, and they'll tell a friend, and they'll 2 friends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Here we go. Rashana Boswell, Sheena Oleg, Julia Fury, Sherry Priami, and Ashley Jones. That's the first call out. So now, if this was the morning show, so you have to come back for the night show. But I'll be reaching out, and then I'll whittle it down and select one, and we'll go on from there, because the other part is still got to sign them, and based on what shows they're doing, and go from there. But at the end of the day, when everybody else talk about it, Glenn is writing checks. So
yes, he is.
What needs to go on, and we're bodybuilding. Who needs to sponsor? We need for this, for that show. I'm sending out DMs and everything for the last 2 years. Anyway, I digress. I know I'm doing my part, and it's not a thing of I'm thumping my chest to see what I'm doing. Look what Glenn is doing for women's bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Looking left and right, and like, okay, who is not doing anything? Why aren't they doing it? So, and something I've been doing since 2017. It really didn't start with Amazon. So anyway, trying to keep it going. I'll reach out to those 5, and then maybe we'll write some more questions, and then I'll make the announcement and go on from there. But not something I want to rush, but you don't ever want to promise something that you can't commit to at the same time.
Yeah. That's
where we are, guys. So thanks for coming on. I'm right at 1 hour and 3 minutes. I really didn't want to go that long, but and when I got on at 7:30, I was like, whoa, there's nobody. So that's that. So the next show, Melissa, we're going to continue this segment called Wellness Wednesday, Valentine's Day.
Yes.
So let me know what time you want to come on. But special guest will be Nikki Politi, NPC bikini competitor. Like I said, I think it's a master's in biochemistry, but she's an NPC judge. And of course, she's a co-promoter with Pennsylvania Muscle. So that's it, guys. I think the first one was good. You can give me your comments later, and we'll just roll from there. Thanks, Melissa.
Yes, I am going to go train now.
Nice. What are you
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I'm just going to do some cardio and shoulders today.
All right. So are you gonna
Yep.
are you gonna wear anything special for Wellness Wednesday on Valentine's Day? I'm just saying it's all about marketing now. Hey, thanks guys. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Melissa. Talk soon.
Alrighty, I'll text you in a bit.
All right.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
guys. Bye.
Peace.
Celebrate the female physique. Amazon's fitmag.com. Make sure you subscribe. I'm Glenn Young for Amazon's Fitness Magazine. For Melissa Guerrero, Michael Young, my art director. We'll see you next time.